Welcome to Navigation Trading Live. You are now part of a growing group of do-it-yourself traders who are trying to change the way investors think about building wealth. But because we don't believe in using financial advisors, stock tips, or traditional financial media, we have to do things different. We have to do things smarter. We do that through an art and a science we call trade hacking. At Navigation Trading, our methodology is based on statistics and probabilities, not hype or emotion. Our core strategies have been used by market makers, hedge funds, and floor traders for many years. Now, we share these secrets with you. Whether your goal is to make an extra $1,000 per month or replace your current income, with our guidance, you can achieve financial success beyond your wildest dreams. So, let's get started. What's up, everybody? Hope everybody had a great weekend. Today is Monday, October 2nd. Welcome to Navigation Trading Live. It is just a few minutes before the market opens this morning. And looking forward to another great week of trading. Just as a reminder, this Navigation Trading Live is all about you. So if you have any questions or topics or anything that you want me to cover, make sure you shoot us an email or leave a comment here on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll do our best to discuss it live on the air during our broadcast. And so one question before we jump into the trade of the week, before we jump into the platform, one topic that I want to cover that I've gotten several emails about over the last couple weeks is that of trade fill prices. And specifically for Navigation Alert subscribers, the question is, what if I can't get filled at the same price as the alert? Okay, so we send the alerts out immediately as soon as we get filled. But sometimes, if price is moving quickly on the underlying symbol, you might try to go get filled and you won't be able to get filled at the same price. And the answer to this is twofold. One, sometimes you're going to get filled at better prices than we do. So sometimes it's going to work out in your favor, and sometimes price may run away from you a little bit. So the question is, how long are these fill prices good for? And second, how far away from that fill price should I still execute my order? And the answer is a couple things. One, sometimes these alert prices will be good for multiple days. So I've seen situations where several days has passed by and you can actually still get filled at the same price or better. And then on the flip side of that, I've seen situations where 10 minutes later you're not getting filled at as good of prices. So it really depends on the size of the underlying symbol, of how much you should give up compared to the alert price. So if we're trading a $50 stock, for example, let's say like an EWZ, it's trading at about 40, 45 bucks, I think, right now. And so the lower the price symbol, the less you want to give up. So on something, let's say under $50, I wouldn't give up more than 2 to 3 cents difference from what we got filled at on the alert price. Okay. Now, if it's something a big symbol like a $2,500 symbol like SPX, for example, then you could potentially give up 10 or 15 cents difference from what we did, because it's such a much larger, it's such a lower percentage of your overall profit. So it really depends on the specific alert, depends on the price of the symbol we're trading. But I would say over time, as long as you just take the alert, get filled, sometimes you're going to get filled at better prices, sometimes you might not get filled quite as good of a price, but over time it's going to work itself out. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Okay, so hopefully that helps. I want to start answering more of these types of questions that we get repetitive emails on. So again, if you have questions, post them here on Facebook or YouTube, or shoot us an email, and we'll make sure to kind of dive a little bit deeper into the answers. So before we jump onto the platform and go through the trade of the week, I've got one big announcement, and that is we are now releasing our newest course called How to Trade Options on Earnings for Quick Profits. So it is October 2nd today. So the third quarter just ended, which means all the companies are gearing up for what we call earnings season. meaning they are going to start releasing their revenue numbers, their sales, their profits, their losses, their forward-looking projections 4 times a year. So after the end of every calendar quarter, a company is required to schedule a date to announce their earnings. And so there are some very specific trade setups and trade strategies that we implement around these earnings announcements. And so we've created a full course on this. I'm so excited about this course because it is such a game changer. If you have ever traded around earnings and lost money, if you've ever tried to be directional on a stock and you got the direction right, but you still lost money trading options, this course is going to demystify all of that. There are specific strategies that you can implement leading up to a stock's earnings announcement. There are specific strategies that you can implement through a stock's earnings announcement. And there are specific strategies that you need to implement after a stock announces its earnings. And there's a very predictive nature of the underlying, not of the direction of the stock, but of the implied volatility of that stock. And we dive deep into it in the course. Just go to NavigationTrading.com/earnings. We've got special pricing just for our Navigation members for the next, 9 days until October 11th. And this course is not going to be released on any other platform. It's only available at Navigation Trading. So if you want to take advantage of the special pricing, just go to NavigationTrading.com/earnings, and it is available as of now. So go check it out. So here it is, NavigationTrading.com/earnings. Here is the information page. The course will be listed at $199 on our site, but for the next 9 days, it's available for only $49. Okay, and this thing is packed full of live trade examples. A lot of the feedback that we've got from our members and our students about our other courses is they found a lot of value in our live trade examples. And so we have just packed this thing full of live trade examples on all the different strategies. There are basically 9 strategies that we talk about to profit from a stock's earnings announcement. We talk about how to take advantage of what's called the pre-earnings implied volatility expansion, how to take advantage of the post-earnings volatility crush. We'll teach you which strategies to use before, during, and after a stock's earnings announcement. The options backtester that we've been talking about for the last few months is a really cool tool that we can look to find the best strategies to trade on different stocks, because what works on Facebook, for example, may not work on Apple stock, and what works on Amazon may not work on Apple. So it just depends on the strategy, and every stock has its own little personality around these earnings announcement of not only how their price reacts, but also how the implied volatility of that underlying reacts before, during, and after the earnings announcement. I'm also going to teach you how to create a watch list and scan for the best stocks to trade around earnings. This can all be set up on your trading platform. So I'll teach you how to do that on Thinkorswim. And then the easiest way to bank quick profits in under 24 hours. So in our core income strategies that we use and teach every day, we're typically in those trades anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple months, depending on adjustments and rolls and things like that. Well, a lot of these strategies we are in for 3 days, 7 days, and in some cases, they're in less than 24 hours. There are situations where we put trades on before the market closes, and then right as the market opens the next morning, we're booking those profits. So it's kind of like trading options for income on steroids. It's super speed. So if you like the way that we trade from a strategy standpoint, a lot of these similar strategies are implemented, but they're just compressed down to a much shorter time, so you can book these profits much quicker. The the combination of the strategy backtester, the combination of the implied volatility, predictable nature, all these things together, just they make this whole strategy around earnings such a powerful concept. So I hope you take advantage. Again, this course is going to be listed for $199 after October 11th. But before that, for Navigation members, you can get it for $49 right now. So if you want to take advantage, check that out, navigationtrading.com/earnings. And again, this is only going to be available on our site at Navigation Trading. It will not be released on any other platform. So if you're interested, check it out. All right, let's go to the platform and see what's going on in the market. So stocks are relatively flat, slightly up a little bit. We've got oil is the kind of the big, bonds are flat too. Oil is kind of the big mover, down over 2.5%. You can see a big move down there. We've got implied volatility starting to spike up, but not quite to the level we want to enter a premium selling strategy. However, if that keeps popping its head up, we will potentially look to sell some premium in oil. GLD, gold, down about 0.25%, silver up a little bit. Natural gas, another big mover, so the energies are on the move, mostly to the downside. You can see natural gas also down over 2.5%, and implied volatility starting to pop its head up in there as well. We've got the grains down, soybeans, corn, and wheat all down. Some of the emerging markets, the Mexican ETF, EWW, up a little bit. FXI, the Chinese large cap, up a little bit. FXE, the euro, down about 0.5%. And some of the other emerging markets down a little bit. Biotech's up about 0.5%. Technology up a little bit. And XRT retail down almost 1%. That'll help one of our positions. OIH, XOP, XLE, these are all energy, obviously down, with natural gas and oil down as well. And then some of the currencies, British pound, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, Australian dollar, all down a little bit. So taking a look at some of the stocks, the big stocks that we track, nothing too big. Alibaba is up over 1%. CMG down another 2.5% plus. That stock has just been taking a beating. Apparently the burritos, the E. coli in the burritos is still making people nervous. Disney up a little bit. Let's see what else. Anything? Kroger down about 1.5%. No other major movers. We got Target down a little bit. Some of the retailers getting hit. Tesla pretty flat, Ulta down. So that's kind of a quick and dirty overview of the markets. As far as our trade of the week goes, so this is one that with implied volatility as low as it is, there's no real opportunities outside of the strategies that we already have on and the symbols that we already have on. There's no real opportunity to place a new trade in that way. However, on the topic of earnings, one thing I want to point out is if you take a look, and let's go to our strategy backtester and take a look. And what I did is I'm looking at Netflix. Netflix reports earnings in about 14 days. So today's October 2nd. They report on October 16th. And so one of the strategies that we teach in our course is on some of these big tech stocks, some of these big, Netflix, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, called the FANG stocks. There's a lot of publicity and momentum around them leading up to earnings. And so what I'm looking at here is Netflix and just simply buying a long call 14 days before earnings. So if I click on custom earnings, I'm opening the position 14 days before earnings, and I'm going to close it out one day before the earnings is actually announced. I'm looking at some shorter term expiration dates, and typically for this strategy, we're going to buy either the 40 or the 50 delta calls, and you can see they've had significant returns over the last 2 years, and actually let's look at 3 years, so even better. So over the last 12 earnings announcements, over the last 3 years, 9 wins, 3 losses, around 200% return, 75% win rate. And you can see how consistent that's been over the last few years. And so what we're looking to do is we're anticipating that momentum. Remember, we're not holding this trade through earnings. We're simply looking at a pop in the price up before the earnings announcement and in anticipation. What happens after the earnings announcement is irrelevant to this strategy. We are just looking for that momentum, that positive momentum going into the earnings announcement. So this would be a strategy we could look at. Now, what I like to do with this type of strategy is if we go back to the charts and take a look at Netflix, I like to look for a period when the stock, anytime within that 14-day period. So we're in that 14-day period now. So what I want to see is I want to see price come down at least 1 or 2 days, and then I want to enter to try to get better pricing and then look for that momentum to pop in price leading up to earnings. Okay. So like I said, I want to share this trade idea with you. However, this isn't something that I'm going to put on today. For one, Netflix is already up a little bit and implied volatility has popped up. So I want to look for a situation where either price is down, or the other piece of that is if implied volatility is down, that makes for a little bit better entry point as well. So, for example, if Netflix turns around and falls and comes down on the day, I might enter this later today. Or if tomorrow or the next day or sometime, we've got 14 days. So you could do this as close as 3 days leading up to earnings. But sometime in that 3 to 14 days is what we're looking for. So that's our trade of the week. Not going to enter it now, but just kind of keep your eye on Netflix, and that would be a good trade, high probability trade set up to look at between now and the earnings announcement, which is October 16th. So I hope that was helpful, everybody. Again, if you want to check out the full earnings course, go to navigationtrading.com/earnings and check it out. Make sure you take advantage of that special pricing so you don't have to pay full price when it goes on the site for $199. Everybody have a great week of trading, and we'll talk to you next week.